Let's go over here. Now we're live.
So we open in a Cernith ruin deep beneath the city of Freeburg as our party prepares to venture far from the world that they know. Through the portal, which is still kind of hovering and open from where Runa headed through. Everybody else can see the revenge literally like rising up and out of the water, and the cape that Runa had been gifted by Queen Mab pulling off of her shoulder and once again unfurling as the flag of the revenge. Um, the others that are there, some of whom are known. I mean, Runa knows everybody. Some of the others have never yet met the former members of the crew, and so, but there's sort of like a look between each other of like, this might be the closest thing to like walking into hell that some of them have ever experienced. It's a complete unknown. This is another world, and what lies beyond it is unknown beyond legends. Um, and uh, like as Runa has like pulled herself into the water, uh, hguorhT kind of smiles to himself, uh, and uh, under his breath, like those who are kind of close to him can hear it, can say like, can hear him say, "Brave as her mother," before he dives through the portal as well. And kind of splashes and starts to come up and over the side. And the rest of the crew begin kind of throwing things through into the water. Uh, Things don't quite work exactly as expected. Like the sails don't float on the water as they normally might, and so there's sort of an urgent grab to get the extra sailcloth and haul it up and over. Neither precisely does the wood, which is strange given that the ship itself does float. Um, but there's like a spare oar that just sort of like sinks into the water and starts going down. Um, the who is first through? Who is thinking deeply about it?
Um, yeah, Len will otterify himself and jump in the water and just try and kind of help ferry supplies and such to the side so that they don't lose half their supplies.
Um, yeah, there's like a strange look from like the two Veston crewmen that are aboard already, as Len comes in and on, just like you see one of them like kind of hand goes to the side and looks to Runa, like, this is normal, this isn't something we should worry about. They don't ask that, it's just the unspoken look of like,
You
She
know,
just
I
nods. She just nods with a slight smile. Like, oh yeah, this is totally fine.
you mentioned all these other people, and the moment you're like, who goes first, my brain just did like a hard reset on it being anybody but the council. I don't know
right.
why, but I'm committing. I did it.
So,
I'm sticking with it. But
um yeah, so the the other the other two that are with Odin. Odin's still kind of like through the portal. He's like, he's hanging back. So there's hguorhT and Odin. There, and new to kind of everybody is Orm and Lucky. Orm is a gray bearded Vestin who looks like he should be too old to leave the house, no less like serving aboard a ship, except he's also got like a bodybuilder risk kind of build. He's absolutely like stacked and weapons at the ready, and
A unit, if you will.
yeah. Lucky is, uh the moment he's kind of through the portal and up onto the ship, he's straight up and into the rigging and into the crow's nest and like walking along the major beam of the sail as if it were any other kind of land. Like, his sense of balance is incredible. Part of the reason he's named Lucky is because he'll do that during a storm. So
all right. Well, Like I said, Len's just kind of helping if people need help, and he'll probably be the last one actually on the ship. He's also keeping an eye underwater for any interested things.
It doesn't require a roll. There is one creature that seems to be under the water here, and that one creature is titanic. It is enough to like lift this entire ship in its jaws and swallow it whole without chewing it. It is an enormous, lengthy sea dragon that seems almost oblivious to their presence at the moment.
Len's gonna pop up and like make frantic chitters, like
When Gav goes through, anybody who's listening can hear him mutter like the steps for a proper breaststroke because he didn't know how to swim last time.
That is actually relevant to my question. How common is it to know how to swim
I
here?
would say it's so. First
Either-
off, if you have a single dot of athletics, you know how to swim automatically.
Okay, good to know.
If you do not have a single dot of athletics, then it's you may have had some experience by accident. You may have fallen into a river or not. You know what I'm saying? But regardless, you're probably not a terribly strong swimmer. For those who were,
You can tread water.
So I think Gav, is pulled up and aboard, no problem. Orm is aboard. He's a strong fellow.
If Honorine were to struggle at all, Runa would jump and help her.
Otter Len in the
Oh.
water to help.
Never mind. Forgot about
Captain,
that.
stay at the helm. Or, I'm sorry. Chitter, 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 chitter. Squeak, chitter, chitter.
Squeak, squeak, squeakum, squeaking, squeak, squeakum.
So is Honorine through after Gav goes through?
I think Honorine is doing one of those things where she's real nervous about this. One might even describe her as being a little scared about going into the abyss of the water. And so I think she's doing that thing that cats do, where she's like kind of like looking to see if maybe she can land directly on the ship. She's like probably sizing it up. And I, the player, am just waiting for somebody to just be like, okay, boop, your turn. And Len's not there, so
Yeah,
maybe it won't
Len's-
happen. I don't know. But like she'll go eventually. But she's probably the last one in.
I think Hans hasn't gone through yet, so Hans might be behind her, waiting to see if
I think
because I'm fairly sure he does have athletics.
I think for a minute he's like kind of peeking around his shoulders, like, "Oh, what's going on out there?"
She will stand kind of aside and be like, if you'd like to go.
Oh, yeah. Just jump right through. Off we go.
So
Make-
that
make
leaves
sure everything's,
Honorine standing at the portal.
with Odin and Heinrich.
Heinrich is not. Heinrich's the kid.
Oh, Heinrich's
Oh, the kid be here.
He's not there. No,
He's
Odin's
busy
there
learning
with-
his letters still.
with
Poor
yeah.
bastard.
Odin's there with Honorine. He kind of like he leans in. He's like, "Do you want a boost?"
I don't think that's gonna help. Will you just
How much is she dressed like appropriately for this kind of thing? How much is she in like a dress with hoops and
She is wearing Honorine clothes. And Honorine has clothes that go she has Montaigne Noble clothes, and she has some she's probably in more common-y clothes. So like fewer hoops, maybe a few less ruffles.
But not
So-
hoops and ruffles.
But not no
Odin
hoops.
kind of looks to that, and he like looks to the ship, and he looks to the water, and he says, I don't think what you're wearing is going to help you float. Would you mind if I offered some assistance?
I would very much like that, please.
And he, like, like through the portal, they could watch as like Odin kind of pulls a knife and then just sort of like cuts a circle around like the hoop of the dress until it drops down and kind of like leaves her in like the stockings and whatever would be under it, as well as like the corset.
I had a
And
nickel for every time a dress has been cut off of someone.
This
That's
is a
two
Swatchy
nickels.
and or
And he-
Buckley adventure.
and he gives sort of like another very apologetic smile and then slices straight through the laces of the corset and tugs that to like off to the side. He's like, I think you're ready now.
Len is going to wolf whistle, but as a sea otter. So just because he's not even actually watching as soon as the cutting happens, but it was just too perfect of an opportunity.
I don't think they have a word for the shade of red that Honorine is right now.
So
He
be
kind
it.
of like he sheaths the knife and he
Oh, good.
he
We're
takes
done
her
cutting.
he takes her hand and he says, on 3. 1,
Okay.
2, and then they jump through, and that's where I'm gonna like close our cold open and have us do our opening bit. Thank you, everyone, and welcome to the Shadow of the Wactturm. Our producer tonight is one of the moderators of Dirty 20 Gaming, the delightful, compassionate Gloriosa. Our lore master for the series is the beautiful and benevolent Syndra. Before we get started, I want to give a content warning. While the Spirit of 7th is a swashbuckling adventure and shadowy intrigue, the story will deal with mature themes, including death, loss, suicide, and grief. Eisen, our setting, is recovering from a 30-year civil war over religious differences. It may get dark sometimes, and there's no shame in bowing out if it's not a place your head can go at the moment. So without further ado, I'm going to have our savvy swashbucklers introduce themselves, starting with Honorine mid-splashdown.
Hello, everybody. I'm Glory, Blaze of Gloriosa, also known as Glory. I haunt the Discord a lot. And I'm here 3 nights a week. 2.5. 3. No, it's like 3.5. I can't count. Math isn't my strong suit. So I'm here on alternate Wednesdays producing Oracle Force. I'm here on Thursdays producing for our wonderful not masks. City of Mist. Yes. City of Mist, Deviant Paradox. I'm here on Fridays playing one of our Shadowrunners in our Shadowrun game, and I am here on Thursday on Sundays playing our resident noblewoman Honorine. I have no skirt now. Cease to cease. Who still doesn't have a sister to blame all this on. So that's I'm excited. We're excited. We're getting excited. Let's toss it over to Runa, please.
Hi, I'm Ruth. I am here on Wednesdays as sorry, I do know who I play, I promise you. I am here Wednesdays as alternate Wednesdays as Trek. I am here on Thursdays as Nora, Sundays as Runa, and Runa captain of this ship right now, Ingvild's daughter.
Woot!
And you can catch me one final time on Carnage Heights for our epilogue whenever that happens. For convenience, I'm going to pass it on over to Hans.
Hello, everybody. My name is Rory. I'm here tonight on this wonderful Sunday evening, playing everyone's favorite moderately strong swimmer, Mr. Hans, the soldier boy.
You!
Reifenstahl. You can also catch me here on alternate Wednesdays for the for our Masks a New Generation campaign, Oracle Force, run by the wonderful Scarred Adventurer. You can catch me there playing Graviton. Whole mess of things going on with that character. Tune in next time we go live. It's a blast. And you can hopefully find some other stuff I do here eventually. Progress is slow as always, but there will be stuff eventually. I think it's time that Len goes next.
Hi, folks. It's me, Bat Kyle. You can find me here on Sundays playing Len. You ought to be glad I was so helpful, Costin. Otherwise, you can find me really just in the chats for pretty much all of the games that have been mentioned, being a menace and trying to break the players and or DM. Because everybody's got to have a hobby, and mine is chaos. Other than that, you can find me on the Discord posting unhinged food memes and geeking out about games every now and then. And otherwise, well, social media sucks the life out of you, so you can't find me there. Over to Bison.
That's me. Hi. I just about said it twice. I am Bison_Stonefist. I am a regular on this channel. I'm here 3 nights a week. Tonight I'm playing Gav. The breaststroke is really hard when one of your hands is skeletal, the grin. He is our lovable brawler in a game about swashbuckling, so you know, why not? I did run the Cyberpunk Red game Carnage Heights. We have our epilogue coming up hopefully this Tuesday. Health willing, all those involved. It's been 3 years. I can't believe it's been 3 years. It's actually closer to 3.5, but like, holy crap. On Thursdays, I play Garrett Sakes on Deviant Futures, the City of Mist campaign. Almost said Masks. I'm not even in that game. But anyways, Garrett's, you know, he's the emo kid. I'll be honest, he's the emo kid. And on Saturdays, I play Captain Calvin Scooter Hobbs, lovingly referred to as Big Scoots,
Big Scoots.
on the Ironsworn Starforged campaign Starsworn. There are 4 players, 4 GMs. We're all the same people, and none of us know where the plot's going because you can play the game like that. It's the most unique experience I've ever had. Check out Ironsworn. That's sort of the dark age fantasy. This is the sci-fi. It's more or less the same system. Check that out. It's definitely cool. Everybody should try it at least once. And that's everybody. So let's take it back to Siosa. You're muted.
Hi, I am Siosa. I am the storyteller for Shadow of the Wactturm. I am also not on social media. So if you want to get a hold of me, then find me on the Discord. I'm presently working on I'm going to call it a short shot instead of a one-shot game because I don't really know if I'm capable of running a one-shot. But beyond that, Sundays here is where to find me. So 1 second. I'm feeling very short today, so I'm just doing this real quick. Nope, too much. All right, so Honorine and Odin splash through on the other side. Once it's clear that Honorine has a little more swimming experience than other feats of athletics, Odin's arm does go around her and he kicks hard enough to keep them afloat. The water here is like, it's harder to swim in than normal. Even for Len's like otter form, it's like it's very quickly exhausting. Does that make sense? Like those who know how to swim can keep themselves afloat for a short time, but like most even experienced swimmers would probably drown here in a matter of minutes. And Orm and Lucky are quickly like helping them up and over the sides. And that leaves the crew piled into the Revenge in a ship that like looks out over waveless waters with sun and moon overhead at the same time. and no stars to light a course. This is a strange and vast emptiness.
Does the portal close behind us,
It
or is it just?
it seems to, after, like, you don't know like what exactly sets off it closing. Before you guys had like pulled a rune out of it. Does that make sense? And then it closed. But you would guess that it would happen just sort of like naturally over time, or there would be a timer built into it, or something similar.
Or
But
Kavi will take care of it.
that might well be it too.
Kavi?
Kavi.
Kazi.
There are two Kavis in the game. One I'm referring to, or Kazis, or sorry, there's a Grandmaster Kazi who works for the order, and a Kavi who is Runa's blacksmith.
And dead.
And
dead.
But you know, that hasn't
that
stopped
guy-
other people, so.
So
All right. So Len is immediately going to unotter and then wander over to Runa, lean in and whisper, I don't want to alarm anybody, but there is a sea dragon beneath us that doesn't seem to notice us, but could swallow this whole ship easily. So we might want to get moving.
All right. And let's just hope it continues to not mind our presence.
Yep.
And we'll get this boat sailing.
Yeah.
Orm takes a look at the wind. He says, under oars, more like, unless it can sail its own will. And with that is like when Runa can kind of feel, like, as she's touching the wheel, she can feel every rope, every sail. She can it can sail with the most minimal of winds, but it can't sail without them.
Mm-hmm.
But at her will, the oars can begin to row upon their own
Okay.
without breaking the back of anybody who's on the ship. And as you know, the ship sort of like lurches into motion with the oars starting to row. Orm looks startled. Lucky, for like the millionth time that Rune has seen it, looks like he's about to fall but never does. Just that kind of like wild, balance getting, and then like, okay, I'm good. But the ship doesn't have a course. Like we don't yet know where we're headed.
Mm-hmm. What do I do about that? Can I try to use my gateway to see where the portal on this side is?
No, because you have to have seen it
Oh.
before.
Man.
Are there any myths or legends about sailing to Valhalla that could provide clues?
Odin, how did you get here?
It says, we set sail off Bryn Sail. It says
Great.
a ship that we stashed there came to the mirror, and we found our way out by virtue of your opening your portal.
Did I remember seeing anything in the Wactturm in Bryn Basail?
You remember when you guys fell into the water that the Wactturm was still there?
Yeah, I do know that Rosa and I went inside.
Yes. And one of the things that you remember specifically was that the staircase that led upwards was gone, as was like the blood portal that was used to quickly transition to the top. The tower itself was just in water. It was like floating, even though it had no right to float. And it was the first time that she saw that the tower went down as much as it went up.
Right. So I didn't see a portal in there.
But they were at the ground level. not
Yeah.
at either end of it.
I forget.
Don't know how your magic works, but can you draw on your connection to one of the imprisoned runes in Valhalla in a place like this?
Can I?
They're all imprisoned, and you're also not yet in Valhalla.
Yeah, exactly. That K. I thought so. Uh,
I turned into things. I tried. It's
Did any of us get to keep? Did any of us actually get to keep a cloak from the order of whoever they were, whatever they were called?
No.
I forget the name of them.
No, those
Okay.
are sacred relics.
Kreuzritter.
And Odin he digs into his, like, beneath his shirt. He says, Mad Jack, the one who set up our escape plan from Brim to Sail, he gave me this before. He said that I would need it. And he digs out, and it's just like a little like faceted crystal on a leather necklace.
is there a way to investigate it?
How is she investigating it?
Oh
Like-
dear. Trying to think about what I can do.
I will.
Can I try using my wisdom rune? Would that work?
Just looking up what it does real quick. I have another question. You can, Honorine, you can go ahead and make a Wisdom Scholar roll.
Okay.
Let's see. I don't think we have the stats for what the Wisdom Rune actually does, unless. Oh right, it's the Wealth one that you chose the Wisdom effect over the Wealth effect. Yeah, you can when you roll it, you can ask the GM one question relevant to your current situation.
Where's the portal?
I got a 45.
Oh wow.
Okay, so it's not anything specific to you. Would ask specifically about like the mirror scene and stuff like that. What it is it's about the crystal in particular, in that you've seen one before, cut in the same way that one is, in that it's designed to be prismatic. It's designed to split light specifically into like a rainbow. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like the crystals that are shaped specifically just for that purpose, so when light passes through, they'll always create that effect.
May I see that for a moment? Unreen says to Odin, who has the crystal.
I think he's already handed it to Ruda. So
Okay. Well, Rune's gonna hand it to Unreen then.
She winks it over this. No, kidding. That's from a skirt.
Let that be a lesson to all of us. No.
And she's going to. So we have two sources of light. We have the sun and the moon. So just out of sheer curiosity, she's gonna actually kind of hold it angled with the moon behind her first, just to see if that does anything.
It does. When she's looking at it like through the moon's light, the water wherever it touches seems to disappear completely. Like right now, it looks like a flat, perfect reflection. It looks just eerily gone. Like there's nothing but like air in its place.
And I assume, do we see the thing underneath it? As
No,
we're
it's just
okay.
oh yeah. You'll actually see like there's like a moment like it's like well that's it, and then you'll see just like a wall of scales go by and keep going by and keep going by like you're waiting for a modern day like train to pass an intersection that's miles long.
Oh my God, is he single? And then Honoриne's going to let that happen, and turn with the sun to her back and try putting it through that way.
The
I assume it's
instead of
going like from me to and splitting in the front. That's why I'm talking about putting the lights
and people
back.
yeah, and everyone will see like for a moment there's like nothing on the horizon, and then there is a prismatic tower that looks exactly like the Wactturm, except all of the colors of the rainbow are like flowing through it.
There?
Gav starts sketching.
And Runa's gonna set the course.
hguorhT says, I would think there, yes. And he is like he kind of like plops down next to Gavin while Gav is sketching. He's just sort of like writing down observations. Lucky up from the crow's nest is like tower. It's just normally his job to the point, but everybody's spotted it, you know, just
And like,
Thank you.
I feel like Runa would do this a lot when she was a kid too. Just like whenever anyone said anything to her, she'd just like, and she does like a small one.
um
To just kind of be like, things haven't changed too much.
Orm he crosses to Honorine, you know, whose clothes are very much like in disarray at this point. I don't know how much she's sort of like protecting herself and whatnot. Um, he says, I've had a hand at stitching time or two. Clothes and flesh alike. Says they go into disarray. Says, you want me to fix you up?
I'm compelled to ask the question of what that means first.
He says on a ship, he says in the water, he says you want things tight in certain places so you can move easy. He says and loose in others so you can move easy.
But not more cutting, right?
He shakes his head. He says adding a little
That
bit.
would be delightful, actually. Not that I'm impugning the help of Mr. Odin over there.
He looks to the water. He says probably saved you from going to the bottom. And he has like a packet with like thread and needle and stuff like that. And as the ship is moving, he takes a couple pieces of like cloth, a rather old cloak that he has clearly been in possession of for some time, of which you can see strips have been removed previously. Like it's slimmed down over time. But he he gets it like wound tighter around the waist, beneath the bust, like making it a little bit more shaped, and also like not risking any kind of loss of modesty in the midst of adventures. Does that make sense? It looks a heck of a lot more piratical afterwards. It would be absolute scandal in the Montaigne courts to be spotted in it. But it is practical, and it's probably right now about the most comfortable piece of clothing that Honorine owns.
And she's very like, thank you. She's very appreciative. She's not like snarky about it or anything.
says, happy to keep my hands busy, so I'm not thinking about what's out there in that water.
I am both very tempted and not tempted at all to go fishing. I will not lie.
Let us not call any unnecessary attention to ourselves.
Yeah, and Orm kind of looks over and he says, have you heard of how the Vestan Isles came to be?
I haven't.
Can't say that. No.
He says, in the earliest days, the Vestan had lands as large and plentiful as the Montaigne or the Castilians. It says, but then along came a dragon that gobbled up our farmlands, left us with nothing but cold, frozen mountains on distant islands. The
Like, as an
Vestans
ate the dirt.
suffered. It ate everything. It ate villages, it ate towns, it ate the land itself. So all that was left was islands that were bare large enough for us to scrape out a living.
You know, if you told me that like a year, 2 years ago, I'd have been like, But at this point, that sounds actually plausible, and I kind of hate that.
This is 2-3 hours ago. I thought it a legend.
I buy
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I buy it.
All right, so I don't know if I missed it, but do we have a heading in a direction now?
Yes,
Yes.
the ship is under
That way.
sail towards what looks like the Wactturm, except in
Prismatic.
like multi-hued colors.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And constantly shifting. It's not just like there's red on this side. It's like the whole thing is sort of like scrolling through the wheel of the rainbow.
It's such a bad rainbow too. Such a bad rainbow.
Just a big sparkly rod in the middle of the ocean.
Well, it's less that, and remember, Len explains like at least I'm fairly certain he explained all the different colors of the sort of like lockaway spells that have been used to shut out the Cernith and other things from our reality. Because Matrushka showed him that.
It's the June colors for Wactturm.
The tower, as you approach it, is just eerily familiar. It looks exactly like the tower you guys have climbed up dozens of times. To have meetings, to look out over Freeburg. It gives you like a sense of like where you are if the city would be here. There's a single opening that's exactly at water level, and with when you were in Bryn Sail, like the waves kind of lapped and sometimes water got in and stuff like that. Here in the mirror, it is exactly level with the opening, and like water never kind of like dips up over the side and into it, and you can see there is the tower going up and the tower going down, and in the middle of it is a gate that does not look like it was crafted by the same hands that crafted the gate that you saw before with like the gem insets. Does that make sense? The person to whom this looks familiar is Len, because Len has seen like flashes of what Matushka's like travel mechanism looks like. Does that make sense? She's said to ride like a cauldron or like a broomsticker, and when he saw it, it was neither thing really. It was just a sort of alien device that people looking for a description would have used either of those things. Does that make sense? Because it kind of fit both. It looks to be of metal, yes, but and there are colors that are wound into it at certain points, but it looks like the entire thing is sort of free floating, nothing supporting it, and there are only 7 entries on it, like 7 different colors, and no way to like remove them or put them back or anything like that. Does that make sense?
What did you say? 7 different what?
7 different colors. There's
entrance.
Yeah, that was wrong word choice. I was looking for like sections of the wheel, like broken.
So that looks a lot like that belongs to Matrushka. She never showed me how to use it. I'm just gonna put that out there right away. But she's shown me visions of her utilizing it to get around.
Is it around like where we are from, or get around to what else is out there?
That's a good question.
Hmm.
I would say yes, because this is Matrushka we're talking about, an incredibly powerful goddess.
Hopefully we don't anger her, but it's the only lead we have at the moment.
Oh, I'm a poke it.
All right.
Eventually, we can study it first, but
Oh
obviously
no.
we're
I think the
led
time
here
for
for a reason.
study is probably before the portal. I think probably poking is the better course of action at the moment.
I mean, we are here already.
Yes.
Unless
I'm gonna
anyone
remember
has
you
any better
said that
ideas.
later.
This doesn't look like there's much else for us to try.
All right, so last I knew, I still had Mom's favor, so I will actually be the one to touch it and see what happens.
Let's hope we don't get smited.
If I do get smited, I'm gonna have some choice words in wherever I end up, and please tell Rosa I thought it was the best thing we could do at the time.
You'll probably just get shocked again. It's fine. You can survive it. You don't need the
I
brain
can
cells.
actually. It was really invigorating.
Gav
don't need the brain
motions to
cells.
Orm to like stand in a certain spot so they've got the most likely places Len's gonna go flying covered, so he doesn't fall into the water.
Yeah, and Orm just kind of like, you think he's gonna, oh, and you just sort of
Oh.
like, he hoists up like half of like a net that's like there, you know what I'm saying? It like gestures for Gav to get the other half. It's like designed for fishing, like when they're at sea, but
Mm.
Oh yeah, I'm going to get out of the way and
And Honoring like goes and holds like a quarter of the net. Helpfully.
Just
she's
hopefully.
helping.
And then Len's just gonna kind of step in, like leap over and step in,
So
and
when Len steps into the tower, what everybody else sees is Len just disappear. Like the gate is still there, but like you don't see Len the moment he steps through.
oh,
And Len, as he steps in, like the entire tower seems to expand exponentially in every direction. Does that make sense? The portal is still there, but it's suddenly like expansive. Does that make sense? It's no longer like about a person sized. It is enormous. Like I'm trying to like scale wise, if you were to take like one side of it to the other, you could fit a football field between the edges of the arches.
okay. So, but it's still just one big portal in there.
And it's just floating, and it's floating at a level that he can still like reach it and touch it and possibly like spin it to stop at a certain place.
Okay. Does he like notice? Like he's gonna turn around before he does anything.
He sees a very tiny ship behind him. Like it looks like a little play ship bobbling on the water of a bath.
if I squint, is Len really tiny in the portal now?
No, you just don't see him.
I would like to say Runa's been standing at the wheel. It doesn't mean anything to anyone else, but it would for Lucky and Orm. Just standing there the way her mom would. And kind of just taking it all in. But knowing that we can't see Len anymore, she starts to head over. Well, someone's got to figure out what happened to him.
And he sees that, but no, we've got the spinny wheel, so he's gonna touch the wheel. He's not even gonna try and spin it. He's just gonna.
what is he's yeah, so he touches it. The entire thing, as massive as it is, it's light to the touch. Does that make sense? Like it, as if there was absolutely no friction or inertia or anything that would prevent it from moving.
See if you can get as close as possible to $1 without going over.
Yeah. It was just...
Bison and I had the same thought at the exact same time.
So is he just setting it to spin?
He's
Oh,
gonna
God.
he's not gonna just give it the whirligig treatment. That seems like a great way to get sucked into, someplace even worse. But he is going to gently turn it and
Okay.
see if there are any changes.
So when there are 7 specific places on it that when it starts to light up that specific portion of it. It's in the language of Natushka, whatever it is. It's some kind of rune. And even he doesn't read it. He's seen like her, but like all of that knowledge like left his head. But it does have a color to it. And when it gets to like the first of them, it starts to turn red, and he can see glowing within the portal, like the entire portal itself starts to turn a reddish hue. Does that make sense? But it doesn't like open. And then when he kind of keeps going, it starts to turn orange. It's like an indication like this is like one of the settings. Does that make sense? It takes a minute for him to go through the whole thing. And what he realizes is that there is actually an 8th setting, a place where it stops and has the same sort of like hum of energy that he can feel, but he has no idea like what's through it at that point. Does that make sense? Like there's no color that's associated with it. It's like an absence of light. Or perhaps it's in a color range that he cannot see.
Form of mantis shrimp. No, once he's figured that out, he's gonna set it halfway between some gates to try and like keep it closed for now. And he's gonna turn around and try and walk back out.
Okay. Yeah. He then just sort of like reappears at the entrance. Everything kind of proportionally becomes right again.
That's really disturbing. He's like, I just need a minute. All right, so I imagine we're all gonna go in there. At least most of us. When you step in, that the interior just expands immensely to like many city blocks wide. The gate itself gets bigger.
Fascinating.
There are color settings when you spin the ring, but none of them actually showed me what was through the gate. It just changed colors depending on which one I had in primacy.
So it's larger on the outside, on the inside than the outside indicates.
Yeah, when you step
Okay.
through and look back through, like the revenge was like this big.
Yes. Larger on the inside.
Orm says some of us should probably remain with the ship if others are going within. We don't know the means of how any of this works.
Yeah, that's probably a good call. We don't want the revenge just kind of floating aimlessly out here. And I don't know if you could actually moor it to the Wactturm because we can't actually affect the Wactturm. So there's no pitons or anything.
Can Runa put it back in her pocket?
No, that's it's a one-use item.
It was worth an ask.
It was worth
Yeah.
an ask.
I mean, should we all go take a look?
Who's staying?
Orm says I can stay with the ship. And there's like a weird sense, like when Rudy hears from him, of like that he wishes to have gone down with it. He feels like almost a responsibility that he did not.
Survivor's guilt.
Yeah, he lost crew and he lost his captain.
We'll find her. And Runa's just gonna hug him.
And he kind of, he's not used to much in the display of emotion, but he does give her a fierce pat on the back. And
And one person can keep this ship effectively here for however long we're gone. It's a pretty big ship. I'm not a boat person.
Orm says, I don't know what magic has bewitched it, but magic seems to have bewitched it. So
I think it sails itself when I am on the ship. Is that correct?
Yeah. It might be anybody who's touching the wheel can make it do all of that, but since the one that she's picked specifically was that like even allows it to be like summoned and stuff like that, if it's within a distance that like I'm gonna say that Runa can do something like tell it like come here if she's in the same plane as it.
Cool.
Here, boy. Here, revenge. Come here.
Yeah, it's
Come
smart
on.
as it will be there with as much smarts as it can use to get there. Like if she's in the middle of like land, it's not gonna like figure out how to get itself loaded aboard a
Right.
wagon, whatever.
You just see it coming up the road with like one of its masts, like
All the oars like dunk, dunk.
Like
the
the
flag
lucky-
is just going.
So with the Odin is intended to go in, hguorhT is also intended to go in. Lucky's gonna stay with Orm. They're just they've been through a lot together. And Lucky just he hugs Rune. He's like, I'll make sure he doesn't do anything stupid. And as they go in, like the interior of the tower, it's like the edges of it. First off, they're like an almost like an inverted version of the colors that are on the outside. It's like pastel shades, and they seem like a distance that if you walk towards them, they just kind of keep seeming further away from you, or like about the same distance. Whereas like the ground itself is almost like mirror polished smooth stone, with the gate itself kind of hanging over everything.
Matrushka's portal, for lack of a better word. Honestly, it makes sense that it would be here. There's a lot tied into this place, beyond the fact that it reaches to multiple realities.
hguorhT says, "What makes you think this is Matushka's doing?" I'm not being critical. I'm just curious what your source is.
He's gonna tap his eyes. Do you know what this eye color means if you're from Usura?
It says, "I do."
Yeah. Let's just say for a while now I've had a deeper connection to the one who gave me this power from birth.
He says, "So you think Matushka is one of the Cerneth?"
No, she might have taken an idea from the Cerneth, but she was not one of the Cerneth. Suffice to say that the disagreement ran so deep that she locked them away. And I'm telling you this because, obviously nobody would believe you, but you should probably keep that very much under your hat.
I'm not about to rush off to the Explorers Society.
Appreciate it. So yeah, this I've seen this in visions that she sent me. Like I said, I was never shown how to operate it. Just that, there are, of course, have been the legends about her using flying around in a big pot or kettle, or flying with a broomstick. And I think that mostly kind of comes from the fact that the people who made those legends, who might have actually seen this, didn't have the knowledge that we have about what it is and what it does.
hguorhT is thoughtful. He says, "I've seen ruins across several countries. He says, and what struck me was how different most of them were. He says, different kinds of dangers entirely. He says, knowing how a light trap in one place worked wouldn't save you in the next.
Yeah.
He says they were built by different minds and different
societies, and your assumption is correct. The Cernith were not the only threats that have arisen over the eons.
He says it's gonna sound like a silly thing. He says, but what makes me think, he says, that they were made by different hands more than anything else, he says, was the doors. He says they're all of different heights. He says people build doors according to an average.
Mhm.
What lets, he kind of points to like Len and Honorine and Gav. He says all three through comfortably.
Oh, Gav a little less comfortably, but you know, he's bringing up the average, as it were.
He says, so when one ruin has doors 10 feet high, and the next has 4 feet high, and everyone is crouched and moving through.
There are lost peoples, and then there are peoples who may not be lost so much as just not allowed to be here anymore.
Um,
And there's a reason that the Wactturm is so unpleasant to the Fae.
they wonder if it repels any Cernith who draw too close to it.
Wait, Len doesn't actually remember enough about that Cernith woman that was ripped from reality, and that's his only basis. So,
Yep.
Sorry, I had to check myself there, because Len was going to be like, "Well," and then just wait, nope, we don't remember that. We got neuralizer. It's fine.
Yeah, if these are meant to be linchpins, it just also it tracks that they would also be deterrents of some kind.
It says, so my assumption then is that through one of these doors, or one of these points, is Valhalla.
It
My-
would make sense.
It must be so, yeah.
My guess is orange. That was the color of the portal that looked like Valhalla at the gate back in Freeburg.
Maybe
Maybe we tie a rope to me. 3 tugs means bring me back. 1 tug means come on.
How about we tie a rope to something less perishable first and chuck it through, and then pull it back and just see what happens?
I guess we could also do that.
Because I appreciate your desire to get your mom back as soon as possible, but if we drop you through and you come back with all of the moisture gone from your body or just completely on fire, she would be very cross with us.
Yeah.
And Geralt says, sandwiches we can toast through.
Yeah, let's toss through a sandwich now. Maybe we'll do the newest kind of fishing.
And he, you guys like, I assume this, like, before it's actually set to anything, you just try tossing the sandwich through.
Yeah.
And like with the rope through it, it just sort of like, it lands on the other side with the rope kind of very anticlimactically just slung over the gate itself. And a messy sandwich sort of on the floor, which, like, given how utterly pristine this place is, feels almost like you've profaned a temple in some way.
Yeah. Len kind of, like, when they pull the sandwich back, just kind of goes around and sort of just kind of with a handkerchief
Cleans up some
everything
mustard.
up, cleans up some mustard and such. He's like, sorry, Mom. He's gonna set it to orange.
Okay. You see that orange glow begins again. And the entire thing like slowly begins to hum. And he's like, sandwich gets tossed again. And it goes through again. And like just lands on the other side and sort of like splats. And then there's a noise that comes from the gate as it like remains on that setting for a time, and the entire thing starts to spin. And almost as soon as it starts to spin, the rope falls on either side. Um, and Odin, he looks aside. He's like, "Get back, get away from it," and starts like, I'm gonna assume he pulls Honorine with one hand. I don't know if Honorine can hear us at the moment, but he pulls her away as well. As energy sort of like bursts from both sides of it. And there's a moment where all of you, like, you're watching the gate and you're seeing it. And then you're seeing the tower itself, and it kind of shifts so that the entire thing is orange hued. And you can see the ship outside and the water outside, like you're aware of everything. And then suddenly everybody is splashing down into water. And the Revenge is like bobbling in the water next to you. Suddenly there are waves, and this is like normal seawater again. And Orm and Lucky calls out like, "What the hell happened? The sky turned orange. Are you all right?" As you realize, it's taken everything that was around the tower with it. It's not designed for like one person to step through. It pulled everything into this new realm. The sky overhead looks normal once again.
Honorine is very clearly not happy to be back in the water again. Like, sputters, flails around, grabs onto the nearest person.
Runa's gonna like throw her over her back.
She could probably sit cross-legged on Gad's shoulders. Fuck.
She's like, "I'm holding on to someone the next time we do this."
Odin had been nearest to them, and or had been nearest because he'd kind of pulled her back, like when he'd had the sense of danger. But they get up to the side, like he's like throwing ropes to people who are further distant. It's normal seawater though, so like the buoyancy is kind of like refreshing compared to how the mirror was, right?
Len's gonna re-otter while he's here and just peek under the waves.
Yeah, you see like fish and like the sort of like normal things that you would expect from being in a place like this. And when Runa looks up and over the landscape, she recognizes it because she's seen it when she's used her gateway before. She kept seeing a land that looked like a Swiss cheese, strange places missing and stuff like that. And like with the knowledge in mind of like that idea that like the dragon devoured part of the Vestin homeland, it suddenly like slips into place. Like the places that are missing here are the islands that belong in Vestin. Like it's a world literally ripped apart, but that fits together. And what is here is the land that would have once been claimed by the Vestin, and the longhouses and everything that were on it in the gateway. She can see distant signs of them, and like the rise of smoke from some of them. She has a sense of like which direction the village is, but suddenly it's no longer like navigating through islands. Like this is like fjords and waterways and rivers and stuff like that. This is like a lot of land, as opposed to the Vestin lands that she knows.
Sick.
And that is not the only part, because she can hear voices in a constant whisper in her mind here. The voices of Vestin, that some of them speak a Vestin that's so old she barely understands it anymore. Like, how languages change over time and stuff like that. Like, and others are more recent. Like, she hears the voices of the dead. And they're not like overwhelming, but it's like a constant whisper of thousands and thousands.
We're here.
We are here.
And I hear them.
Oh,
I do not hear anything.
probably for the best, honestly.
Dump some water out of his boot over the side.
She's gonna start to sail towards the islands.
Yeah. So I'm just going to have you do a wits and sailor roll for the navigation. Um,
17.
um, if you would like, there's an awful roll. If you would like, you can spend the Dromedai to connect to the ship and be using its stats for the duration of this journey while so
Right.
long as you're touching the wheel. I will let you re-roll that using the ship's wits instead.
Awesome. I'm happy to do that.
Otherwise, we'd run aground on a mysterious piece of floating reef.
More like getting lost in completely unfamiliar lands. Not a
Stuck
great
in a
idea.
fjord we can't back out of very easily.
I don't like that. I don't like that you did that.
That I did what?
Unless that was unintentional.
What did I do?
You made a noise that made the roll sound not very good.
Oh no.
That was me making
Honorine
backup
sent me a
sounds.
joke like Honorine's piratical clothes, and I was giggling at it. And okay, so you're navigating to something that you've seen through the gateway like more than once. You know what I'm saying? But like you've never really seen the ways of its approach. Everybody else that's like on board, Runa had been absorbed in sort of like seeing the things that were familiar, the things that were like vested. But for everybody else who's been down through like the underpasses that were beneath everything, in Freeburg, what they're seeing is what looks like cities of the same sort of design and technology as the interior of that gate system that they saw before. They can see like there are crumpled cities and cities that look like they've been blasted down and ruined, but occasionally they're like massive artifacts of technology. They're like up on one tower. Hans can see what clearly looks like artillery of some kind, but it's like a piece of artillery that would be as large as the ship, with like ranges of gems and stuff like that look like they might be some sort of like mechanism to power it. And just by the sheer size of it, it's sort of like difficult to comprehend like what it would actually do. But he doesn't have to work too hard at it, because across from it is an area that would be its like firing pattern, and he can still see places that are like gouged the mountains themselves with whatever is blasted out of this thing. There are the same sort of like weird metallic bands that Gav saw that his hand like deactivated. And the realization that like the place they are in is what remains of those people, and yet even being in this place, those people were wiped out. Even with the weapons they had at their command.
Yeah, he's drawing as quickly as he can.
And Girald kind of points to the artillery piece. He says, "I've seen a piece like that before."
These bands are familiar to me.
Where? How?
He says, he says it was inside of a Draken ruin in Eisen. He says a smaller version. He says it was like a ship's cannon, except 2-3 times its size. He says we sold it.
Do you know what it fires?
Light.
Like the certain artifacts use light. The knife that you showed me, or that Rosa has.
Different. He says this was a beam. He says a beam too bright to look at. He says, and when we turned it on, he says it sliced through a tree.
Hopefully you sold that to somebody responsible. I don't like that silence. I'm not gonna lie.
I sold it to it says I sold it to Koenig Posen.
You know, I was thinking of all the worst people that could have it, and the only other worst one was melted. So
He says it was a decade or more ago.
yeah, no, it's just
And we disassembled it.
I don't think that's gonna stop Fauna Posen. If she can't figure it out, she can afford people who could figure it out, I'm certain. So can somebody write that down so we can let the prince know when we get back that that might be a weapon we might end up facing?
Gav, how detailed
Gav
can you get
switches
the
to another
mechanism?
page.
How much of it can you see from here? Gav,
He says,
can you get the mechanism? Or something? Like how it moves, maybe?
They would have to get closer. We are on a boat.
Yeah.
There's only so much that can really be done, but Lucky does have like a spyglass that'll toss to Gav, and he can get as many details as he can while they're going by.
Yeah,
I assume Runa is not stopping.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, he's drawing as much as he can and getting as much information out of hguorhT to like as to what parts did what on the miniature version.
Yeah, he's doing his best to go through it by memory a decade later.
Runa is back at the wheel as her mom would be, but she is listening to everything happening around her.
Yeah, I want a wits and keen senses as well from everybody that's on deck, except for Runa, as she's sort of like absorbed in ship sensations. So
I am the ship.
it's straight, like you feel every current. You feel when fish kind of like bump against the hull. You know when you're passing a little bit too close to like shallow water because you can feel the draft start to like drag across mud.
Is there anything else that I can add to the wits and keen senses? Artist, scholar, marksman.
This is going to be. This is actually about spotting something distant. So
Architectural sense.
I would allow I'll allow nature to go into it. I will allow the marksman to go into it because there is a certain amount of like long distance.
Oh, then I'm gonna roll again.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is outside the city. Gav has no expertise.
Shit.
Jeez.
Holy.
Well, look at all those ones. What the hell?
You still got a 35.
I still got a 35, but
how did Hans do? 26.
26.
So, there is a creature that sort of comes out of the forest at one point that looks like a
Daddy?
it doesn't look it looks like a creature that like it's humanoid in the sense of like it's bipedal and stuff like that. There are like pieces of like gems that like Honoring can specifically see like from the distance. The others are kind of missing, but to realize it's sort of the same technology. And as it's like walking, it's hefting something that looks akin to an axe. And the way that its like head is shaped, it looks almost like a vest and helmet. But the thing is like it's more of like a cart before the horse thing. It looks more like the Vestin themselves were inspired by something that looked like this for a lot of their fashions and a lot of their like choices, as opposed to like this thing is emulating the Vestin. Does that make sense? And it like stops and it like sort of scans around in all directions. And it whether the ship is just too far distant and it's got like a limited like range of sight, but the way it moves is not. It's very like clunky and robotic. They don't really have like a reference for it, but it definitely is like uh, it's definitely like watching a machine move in the sense of like gears and pulleys and stuff like that, but without any of those things being visible. Um, Bruna, after it's pointed out, has seen these things before patrolling the village where her mother was.
I don't want to fight that. I'm just
It
gonna
is
put that out there.
probably 25 feet tall as well, I should add, based on the distance that they're looking at it.
So we need to avoid
And
those.
Orm is like, I wouldn't want to scrap with one of those either.
Certainly not.
Honoring's like leaning really hard against the edge, like to get a good look, and kind of describing as much as she can see to Gav so that he can get the sketching down.
New page.
And to
Yeah,
Geralt for his writing or whatever.
Yeah, Geralt is also like he says that axe doesn't look too dissimilar from the cannons we saw. I bet it's more than just swinging a sharp blade at something.
It
I've
seems
seen
to have
those
more
patrolling.
embedded into
I'm
its
sorry.
chest.
Seems to have more what?
It seems to have more embedded in its chest.
What did Ruda say?
I've seen them patrolling when I've looked in on my mom.
A lot more of them. That's gonna make this interesting.
So we're gonna have to be as stealthy as we can despite the ship.
And Geralt says, with that in mind, if we catch sight of the city, we might want to dock and go on foot the rest of the way.
Yes.
And as Runa is guiding everything through the waters, it with the knowledge that they might have to be running from those things, as they get to a certain point, she realizes it's probably going to be her last opportunity to turn the ship around.
Uh-huh.
Does that make sense? And the oars can still go backwards, so they can go backwards up the river for a ways, but it's like the one chance that they might have to like use the wind to their advantage and stuff. So and as they like round a bend, they start to see the first signs of the area that she thought of as like the village, although it's city sized. And she's able to like find a cove that's going to be large enough. Like if a creature comes out this far, they're probably going to see the revenge.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? But they shouldn't be able to see it from the city itself.
Right.
Just in case, did the Revenge come back with cannons, and did anybody bring gunpowder and cannonballs for those cannons?
It's lightning instead of cannons.
Oh, okay.
So there is Runa's mother has the ability to inscribe a rune that does something, and she made specifically like basically some lightning rods that will shoot lightning bolts in place of cannons.
Pew pew.
Nice. Okay. I am marginally less concerned now.
AC/DC plays in the background when she does it.
Thunderstruck. All right, so we're somebody's staying with the ship again, and we're disembarking.
Let's go.
Geralt is happy to go with. Odin is insisting as well. It can once again be Orm and Lucky staying on board the ship in case. And they're like, we'll be ready to set sail, should we hear noise. And Orm kind of like in a situation like this, he says, one calling for stealth, says your mother would summon up a hell of a storm if she could. Can you bring the thunder? She can.
Try. So I think I'll do that.
Okay.
Because it will help us.
So this is going to work a little bit differently. What I would like you to do, you're still going to roll your resolve and your skill. What you are going to be doing, though, is rolling a soak.
I'm sure I can do that. I'm sure.
So, what is your mastery level plus your when you do this, roll your resolve plus your mastery level plus your actual root. Okay.
Okay.
And you're going to keep your resolve plus your mastery level.
Okay. Okay. And keeping resolve and mastery. Correct?
Yes. Yes. So remember that Stan's column was the one that like removed a storm.
Yeah.
Which one was? Do you remember which one was the one that called the storm?
Nod.
Nod. Okay. What'd you get?
51.
Okay, so you are going to take 2 dramatic wounds.
Cool.
And for those who are like observing, what happens is she touches the rune, and when normally you kind of see like a spark of lightning that like flows through it as she's like activating the rune, it's like a pulse of lightning comes out from around her. Does that make sense? And it like expands in all directions. For a moment, Runa is seeing from within a bubble inside of a longhouse. Does that make sense? And she feels like not just a connection to the room, but like a connection to the person who has been trapped here for centuries, a person who is becoming a living embodiment of storm and intensity and fury. Like for a moment, it's not just she's touching the storm, it's she is the storm. And the reason I didn't have her roll a success is because the storm that comes up is so total and so fast. It's like if you got 100 on the roll.
Okay.
Does that make sense? It's like
Yeah.
you go from no wind and like relatively clear skies to like a hurricane is coming in, and like the rain is coming down and the winds are like tearing at everything, even as you're making your way there. It's causing an enormous amount of sound and it's causing an enormous amount of like distraction. So like it is going to make all of the stealth rolls a lot easier. But like Runa definitely pays for it. She realizes that accessing her abilities here with the things that are here is going to be different because they are literally connecting her to the runes, but the runes are here.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Okay.
She'd be in Valhalla. Things work different.
Yep. Well, a forest is a forest, so Len is trying to lead everybody as quietly and efficiently as possible through
So
the gale force winds and torrential downpour.
So what I'm gonna to make things easier, I would like to do it as like a single group stealth roll with one person who's the leader and everybody else adding. If you have the actual like an actual stealth type skill like Gav's criminal skill, then that's going to count as bonus unkept dice. You need a number of raises equal to the size of the party that's going through. You're going to get 3 extra dice from hguorhT and from Odin.
So 3 extra dice each or 3 extra dice total?
3 extra each.
Okay. So 6 dice. And I can use my naturalist and assuming everybody wants me to be the leader, my naturalist and wits, finesse. What do I?
It's going to be wits because you're guiding a group.
Okay.
And your target number for getting everybody through is a 60.
How much does each dot in a like stealth related thing like criminal add?
Each dot gives him an extra unkept dot.
Okay.
Can I help by adding sailor, because this is probably something she's kind of had to do before?
I'll allow it on this one.
So you have, is it 3 extra? Because I have 3 points in Sailor.
Yes.
Cool.
So
Alright.
once you go over 10 unkept dice, which I assume will be relatively quickly.
Yes.
So how many unkept dice have you got?
Let's see here. Unkept dice is 6 plus 3 for the naturalist. Does keen senses factor into this?
No.
Okay. Then let's see. 3, 4, 7, 10. I'm at 12 unkept dice.
Okay, so the two unkept dice over 10 go into becoming kept dice. So you'll roll 10, keep however many that is.
I'm
For your
sorry.
kept.
18 unkept dice.
Okay, so you have 8 that go over. What's your core kept die?
My core kept die is 4.
Okay, so you've got 8 plus 4, so that's 2 carryover. So you're rolling 10, keep 10 plus 20, and you need to hit a 60.
10 keep 10 plus 20, and I need to hit a 60. Alrighty.
No pressure.
Woo.
Holy.
10
This is
keep 10.
I strongly suggest hitting a 60, I should say. Things are going to get
Nice.
real wild if not.
103 with the additional 20.
Oh,
Okay. So, Len has spent a lot of time as a cat and a lot of time sneaking through a city with things much larger that he's trying to avoid the notice of. And once he realizes that the patterns of the things moving through the city are extremely mechanical, like more mechanical than a guard's patrols, because guards will stop to like grab a snack, admire a pretty girl going by, shoot the shit, roll some dice, so they might get later, these don't. They are like, you can count 2 minutes to like it will round the corner again, another 2 minutes, you know what I'm saying? And once he sort of like has that and starts keeping track of the math, like it feels almost like they could just walk upright and through the city. You guys navigate past longhouses that when you look within, you can see bubbles of like pure lightning energy surrounding what look sort of like people, but not totally like people. Some of them look very normal. Some don't. Like one of them, as you like move through, he looks like he's swelled to fill the inside of the bubble with muscle, and he's like curled fetal style, like a baby. But he's like he is screaming constantly in blood rage. The beef room.
Yep. All right. Well, do you know around which one of these your mother is, should be? You muted.
You muted.
18 is ruin, correct?
Yes.
Yes. No. It's
No,
19.
19 is ruined.
Um,
The different houses are marked with the runes at the top of them, and so she can identify immediately, like that's harvest, that's journey, that's
last I saw her, she was at ruin.
That is not ominous.
Well,
All
he's
right.
not in there.
Yeah. So let's find ruin.
And as you guys like sneak around one of the corners and get to where it is, because it is like numerically laid out, like the first ruin, which is also 1, is in like the southwest corner of this area, and like there are no other additional buildings, like there's nothing, and it is literally just these sort of like prison cells of long houses, right? With the remnants of an older ruined civilization around. Does that make sense? And these long houses, they look like they are of the same technology. Like there's it is they are built in such a way that it looks like the longhouses from which Runa is familiar with. But again, it's something like, have they imitated something else? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But the buildings themselves look to be of like uncut or of stone that shows no signs of like joints or having been worked or anything. It's just like smooth and in the shape it needs to be. And as they get to ruin, it's the only one that is partially wrecked, that it is like collapsed in on itself. None of the others show signs of age or wear or tear. but ruin has partially like fallen in. It's also looks like it's the signs of like a relatively recent battle, because there are marks of like heat and cuts into the stone itself, and within the center of it is an energy bubble with a woman that looks just like Runa, except a few years older.
Mom.
She does not seem to react.
I hope you forgive me, but I don't want to poke this one.
This one looks like it is designed to be very bad for anybody poking.
So how do we undo it?
Odin speaks up and he says, "That's why I'm here."
Also kind of ominous, but fair enough.
Explain.
It says, "I saw a long time ago." He says that this was the end of my journey. He says, "There is not a point for it for me afterwards." Says, "No visions that I've seen past what comes."
So
That
we
does
won't
not bode well for you, my friend.
So we won't see you again.
He says, "For all I know, this is where the High King's journey ends."
Seems like an odd place to end.
Says, in a way, he says, "This is where the Vestin began." Says, "This is where their pact was made." Says, "Runes you bear," he says, "are these prisoners."
Before you do anything. And Runa's just gonna pull him into a hug and just say thank you.
And he embraces her back. He says, "I hope the fates or the gods or whatever is out there see me to another life."
I hope so
He
too.
says, "And I can meet you again within it."
I hope to see you again.
He says, "I have looked to see your face in the future for a long time." He says, "And now I know I will look to remember it for as long a time."
It's been a pleasure knowing you.
Um,
In every form I've met you.
he leans and he kisses her forehead. And he just sort of like reaches back and he like drives his hand into the bubble where Ingvild is. And you watch as like you can literally see flesh like splitting as he does it. Like for a moment you can see bone and everything like that until he actually touches her, and you watch like pain writhe across his face. Sorry, didn't mean to get that visceral reaction. And he touches Ingvild, and her eyes fly open, and then in a moment they seem to switch places. And you see Odin sort of like freeze inside of the bubble, and his eyes go wide. And Ingvild, Olaf's daughter, like drops to her knees in front of everybody, and a sound that has to be an alarm and is like a shrill, beating, like bone jarring kind of noise sounds across the camp. It is
I
not like a
believe we have
human noise.
discovered.
Is
Time,
this
Someone
time
help-
to go.
Someone help me help her up. As
Yeah, and
Runa
Gav
like
just-
scoops up her mom.
Geralt's on
Gav
the
just
other side
fireman
already.
carries her.
what is Geralt doing?
Geralt was trying to help, but Gav like just lifts her completely.
Yeah.
Is the storm still going?
Oh yeah. And the one difference that Runa can see as she like looks at her mother's face for a moment is she sees the same eye that Odin was missing. Ingvild is like pure white now.
Whoa.
She still seems sort of like not quite with it, like not quite with everything. But her eye does focus for just a moment, like just enough to recognize Runa's face. You know what I'm saying? And like through whatever pain and disorientation and everything that she's feeling, she sees her mother's love for a moment. She sees, like her joy at seeing her, for however long or brief a time it is, and then there's like the ground shaking with the sounds of those creatures running this direction. You're muted.
We need to get out of here.
Yeah, we're trying, but it's a little harder to get out when they're all converging on this spot.
So this is the way. This is not going to be a stealth roll. This is going to be just a pure athletics roll, but in the same manner as before. So whoever would like to take point, it's going to be a brawn-based roll.
I've got brawn 5.
And what's the athletics?
And the athletics skill will assist in this as well. I will allow Sailor to count for Runa. There's going to be a slightly higher difficulty because Gab is carrying somebody who is not assisting the roll in any way. Geralt will add 3 athletics dice as well, but it's going to be the same math as we did before. So everybody let Gav know what they're contributing.
Athletics is... Oh, God.
Yeah, I will allow the criminal. Flee for your life.
would you take warrior? So I don't have athletics, actually, shockingly.
What?
How does Hans Usain Bolt Reifenstahl?
How does Mr. Leg Day not have athletics?
Yeah, we're gonna have to like retroactively fix that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I thought he had athletics. Didn't you say you did earlier?
I don't know how I ever missed that. I thought I did.
Yeah, I was gonna say how did you roll
like,
those?
This is so like much a part of this character. Like
yeah, how
handle that.
Yeah,
if you have the experience and want to spend it on athletics and just be like, this was a brain part, I will totally allow it.
Because you should have.
Yeah, wait,
athletics.
how much is 3? 3 is
all right.
We have to buy 1, 2, and 3.
Yes, that's what I mean. Like, what's the skill? Skills is 4 times.
I'm gonna mute us so quick.
24.
So
Okay, so
also, so what does our escape
Maybe
route
24 to bite.
look like?
So it's definitely something. So like, there's chaos all over the place right now happening with like the storms and the creatures coming in. You guys are going to be running through forest towards the ship after the initial burst, sort of like out of these huts or out of these like longhouses. The longhouses look like they're made of stone. They don't look like they would like burn easily, if that's what you're thinking.
I was thinking
Also,
about
given what they contain, how good an idea it is to burn them is also questionable.
I was thinking about the
how many-
forest.
sorry, how many dice is Geralt giving me?
3.
Okay, so that's 16k 5, so that's 10k 10 plus 10.
Yes.
Right.
We're gonna go with a target number 65 because you were carrying Ingvild and she's not contributing in any way.
Is Honorine starting fires? I support this.
Are you starting fires?
I got 70.
Is it not soggy as hell?
Okay,
That
She
yeah.
can
doesn't
she can
matter
deal
for
with
me.
like
Oh,
wet wood.
that's awesome.
She's advanced enough now that it's like, does it burn? Is the question.
Does it burn isn't really a question. It's just how much effort it is for me to get it to burn. At this
Okay.
point.
Yeah. So that's a 70
Um,
with the plus 10.
it sounds like we don't need it.
Yeah, but fire. I mean,
Are we burning down Valhalla?
That's crazy.
So what are we doing here?
Watch out. You
burning
might get
down the
what
house.
you. Yeah.
Yep.
Not. I don't want to attract more attention to us
Okay,
right
cool.
now. So no, not right now.
So
Okay, cool.
the 70 is going to, so in addition to the just like picking up and running, so like as you guys are moving, like one of the creatures, like you see, you know, like Runa looks over her shoulders and she sees it like lifting its axe and sort of like aligning, and then off of a rooftop, a fraction of its size, she sees red slam into its head and like stab it in the side and stab it in the neck and just keep stabbing. And like it just like it doesn't seem to be like really registering him, but it does throw off the aim. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you know, like as another is like chasing after them, she hears Kavi's voice like, yeah, and like just as the last of them goes by, she sees him like brace all of his strength into something, and a chain pulls up, and he like wraps it quickly around like part of one of the longhouses, and like the thing chasing after them like stumbles and falls to its knees and like loses itself.
Can I please just remind everyone that Kavi is a dwarf?
Yeah, and he
He
just
just-
fully like stumbled one of these.
He is a cannonball.
That only counts
and-
as one.
and like Runa, as she's running, she hears like she hears the voices and the whispers in her mind start to get louder, like they're in, she hears like one of them like louder than the rest. He's like chanting like whoa, 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 whoa. And as they're like starting to run into the forest, she just sees ghostly images sort of like flicker from the forest and like materialize into like full vested warriors charging towards the Vikings that are, or towards like the Viking things that are here, towards the automata. And like the first one she sees, it like runs full at it, and it takes a kick that like you could hear spine snap as he like slams into a tree. But like others are coming; they're just sort of like materializing out of this place.
Good thing you didn't set it on fire, Honorine.
Honorine is scooping
don't
up
think
a
he was
handful
gonna-
of fire
Okay.
to bring with her.
Wait, the
wait.
Just
That
to
gets your
have?
liver
creatures-
eaten.
Just
I
as
said, that gets
true.
your liver eaten. Are you sure you want to steal fire from the gods?
Well,
yeah. That's a good point. That's a good
that
point.
was excellent. The these ones that are like fighting, like you don't, you can tell that they are not much like resistance to the things that are following. Like with a single blow, they seem to be just like shattering the bodies of the ghosts that are helping out. Does that make sense? You don't know if that's like a permanent death or what it is, because these are ghosts. These are dead people. You know.
I see dead people.
Um,
Is
Fighting
anyone
robots.
else seeing the dead?
yeah, everybody's seeing.
Okay, cool. It's not just Runa.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
But she's the only one
It's
that's
the
like
dead people
hearing
voice.
them talk. Does that make sense? And she's hearing like battle cries, like, and she's hearing others that are like, you know, around to the left, catch them on the flanks, you know, slow them down.
And like quietly enough to not bring attention, she's just gonna thank them all.
Um,
Just as they're passing her, just a thank you.
The forest is a little more chaotic than everything else. For one, the hurricane force winds are like beating down at this point. And the creatures, like, they splinter trees as they go by. Like the amount of power that they bring to bear is remarkable. And it is clear that they are laser focused on Ingvild and on retrieving her.
Runa's gonna make a point to be behind Gav.
There are and there are like ghostly beings that are trying to like slow and delay them. You guys are ahead on the run. We're going to need another roll at this point, and that is going to be this one I'm going to do as a command roll. It's going to be a little bit easier, but this one specifically, honoring, if you want to help out with flame and stuff like that, that is going to help a lot, because it's going to like create avenues of approach and stuff like that as you guys trying to like navigate a way through that doesn't run you into more. This is less about pure athleticism and more about like getting a route.
So I'm sorry. So you said that the setting things on fire will give us more options for where to go?
Basically what it is like by cutting off some of them in their approach or slowing them down in any way, then that's going to like leave avenues open that you guys can get through that will make his command roll easier.
Okay.
Because these robot dudes are kind of just everywhere, huh?
There were a lot more of them than there were just at the village. They were patrolling the forest. They were walking the coasts. They're like what remains of this civilization.
Oh shit! So we've seen two different ones. We've seen the bug people and the steampunk people.
Techno Vikings.
Techno Vikings.
Techno Vikings.
So the
So we get command roll. Are there any other applicable bonuses from party members or anything like that? Anything else to tally up?
You know what? I will listen to people make a case for like the thing that they would like to contribute skill wise.
All right. I would start with still contributing naturalist. We're trying to get through a forest that I can basically understand to know where there are draws,
like
natural deadfalls, and
yeah.
Okay, so I'll do this again. 3 dice.
So you'll give 3 to Hans.
Gav will give 1 die for his 1 point in commander.
Okay.
Nice.
Just backing a brother up.
Yep.
What would Bruna?
Can I hear me out? Can I contribute sailor again?
That's crazy. You have 53 XP and no skills.
That's
crazy.
I have 3 skills. I just have a lot of stuff that I can spend them on, and I have choice paralysis.
I'll give you 2 options. One of them is that you can assist with your magic, but you again run the risk of taking some high damage amounts.
Mm-hmm.
And the second is contributing. I think sailor is a little too much of a stretch at this point. You guys are just in full retreat.
Totally.
So
yeah.
What are your other 2 skills?
Healer and craftsman.
Oh.
Yeah, not super applicable right now.
Which are useful skills, just not here.
Yeah, they're great.
Those are good to have.
I am willing to take damage to help us.
Okay.
Could you ward us from noticing us? Or does it have to be?
What can you use?
I could buy mystery right now, but I don't think that helps. I think that only makes it so that I cannot be scryed on. Or like our group would not be able to be scryed on.
Cannot be perceived by magic is something that are allowed to cover the way these things see.
Cool.
I mean, and if you're gonna spontaneously generate a rune, where better to do it?
That's true.
She's not gonna get to like make up new runes here. So they absorb specific forces of the universe. What is honoring doing? Is she
asking you questions in Discord?
Oh. So the number of dice, so a handful of dice is just going to be 2k2. If she wants to expand it as she throws it, she can do that by up to her feed rating. So if she has scooped up a handful of fire and she throws it, she can use her feed to accelerate it or to up it a number of dice equal to whatever her feed is.
Can I add fire starting to that as well?
No, because the fire starting is specific. Well, unless you're trying to do it as like she's just trying to spread it as far and fast as she can.
So this is what I would like to do. Panache is what's offensive and wits is defensive, right? Kind of.
Panache is number of actions. Finesse is normally offense, and wits is defense.
Okay. I don't remember what goes with my magic.
Resolve.
Resolve.
Yours is weird because yours is usually just paying out in flesh wounds, as
Pretty much.
opposed to like making rolls.
Okay, this is what I would like to do, and you can tell me what to roll.
Okay.
So Honorine is going kind of on the offensive with this. She is carrying her flame, and what I want her to do is I want her to stop and kind of like slam her hand against one of the trees, and spread that fire as far out as she can, and use feed and hopefully like wits or panache or whatever to kind of direct it in a way that is like basically throws up a fire break in front of the nearest forces, and just basically throw a wall of flame in front of the people trying to follow them.
Okay.
In the middle of the raging storm.
Okay, so what are her ratings in both feed and fire starting?
Feed I've got 3, and fire starting I've got 3.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll 6k6 wounds for you, and you're going to soak those.
Okay.
And what Hans is going to get is 6 extra unkept dice in this roll.
Wow. Cool.
Can you please remind me what I roll to soak?
Your brawn.
Wasn't
This is
it
not
just-
yours. By the way, so I only got a 43 on the damage roll against Runa. So that was hers
Okay.
for accessing the rune.
Cool.
Yours is going to be this one.
Okay, and am I doing the same thing to soak?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's what is there a bonus from Runa's actions too?
Yeah, there's going to be. I just need to make sure she stays conscious first.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you are 1 shy of soaking it completely as a flesh wound, so you only take 1 dramatic wound.
Nice.
Cool.
Okay, and you said I roll my brawn, right? Is it just straight up brawn, 3k3?
Just straight brawn. And if you have
Okay.
tough, it gives you an additional
I do not.
unkept die.
1k1.
Okay.
I do not have
Sorry,
tough.
additional kept. Okay.
It's relevant. 16.
Okay, so that is going to be, let's see, I rolled a 31 versus you, so that is just a dramatic wound that you're taking.
So as she like slams her hand against the tree, part of the flame like that she's throwing out backdrafts across her arm, and you can see that it burns her as well as it shoots out from where she's putting it.
Which is timed just as like Runa is bringing up her magic. For Runa, there's a moment of like stepping into mystery and just disappearing. This is somebody who has so lost their own sense of self that even being in their own mind, it's like they don't exist. Does that make sense? For a moment, she is nothing, but it's not in like a Zen, comfortable kind of way. It's like I have no sense of anything, any perspective, who I am, the world around me. I've lost the word for everything that surrounds me.
This whole experience has been super disorienting for Runa.
Yeah, I imagine there's still a stumble when she comes out of like that.
Yeah.
That's different, like in realizing that like whenever she's calling mystery, what she's doing is just sort of calling in non-existence. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, so that leaves, so that is going to give, what is your rating in mystery?
1.
Okay.
I just bought it.
Yeah, but so we're going to do another, because you summon or you spoke to like mystery themselves. I'm going to give you a full like +5 on that, or +5 unkept die. Hans's role, because like
Okay.
it's literally like it looks to the pursuers like you disappear into a wall of fire, like everybody diving into it, and then disappeared from their view as like the forest sort of like is burning around them. So
Okay. So that's base is 6, keep 3. So 1 sec, let me do math here. 6 plus, let's see, was it 3 for Honorin's thing or 6 as well?
6.
Okay.
6.
So
He ate a lot of damage for that.
So plus 6, and then 3 from Len, 1 from Gav, and 5 from Runa. So that would put me at 21 unkept. So that would make that just makes that 10k10, right? Plus,
Well, that's 10, but what would you have for your normal amount of kept dice?
my normal kept dice is 3.
Okay. So so you have 11 carryover on top of the 3.
Yeah.
So that's 10 keep 10 plus 40 that you're
Plus
making.
40. Okay.
What's the target number?
I was gonna do a 70 on this one just for like the sheer
80.
number of all right.
125.
Like it ends up
Hell
working out
yeah.
perfectly that like as some of the larger trees are starting to collapse under the fire and the hurricane force winds, like there are a number of the creatures that like just sort of like have trees fall on them as you guys are like fleeing through, and as you like dive towards the water and start like pulling yourselves up into like the sides of the ship, and there seem to be sort of like ready for that. Honorine is not the strongest swimmer. And so like she's the first person they aim a rope for
Her
as
arm
she's coming
hurts.
through the water. And
Or catch.
and then everybody is like hauled up and in, and the moment Runa's aboard, you can start moving the ship.
Yeah.
You
she-
see
and
that
she
Orm has
does.
already like pulled up the anchor anyway. Like he
Yeah.
didn't have the ability to do it with magic, but he was like, yeah, it's that time. So,
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Are
so I need.
Runa's wounds like external or more so just like internal, like she hurts?
I think at this point she's actually showing like it looks like her wounds are actively bleeding, the 2 that she's called, like and not a small amount.
As she's just focused on getting out of there.
Yeah, and hguorhT kind of moves towards her and trying to like tend the like staunch the bleeding as best he can. He seems to have some idea what he's doing. He actually has the doctor skill, so
Honorine will see if she can help with the bleeding.
So we're gonna have one last roll, which is gonna use the actual stat of the ship. This isn't you doing a substitution or having to pay a drama die for it. This is just the actual wits of the ship is what's used for going fast.
Right.
So you're gonna roll wits plus sailor to be navigating through the rivers, through the winds that you have going.
Keeping the ship's wits.
Yes.
Cool.
Get in touch
48.
with your inner Ricky Bobby.
I
Not
say I
first,
did
you're
it.
last. Shake it.
Yeah. Okay. You like. I don't think anybody else has ever been on a ship as it does harrowing turns and like through the switchback of a river. You know what I'm saying? To the point
I've
where
been
it's like
riverboating. It
the
gets wild.
entire mast is sort of like leaning. You know what I'm saying? Some of the oars are like actively being used to like push against the ground to like make the turn fast enough you're not going aground and getting back out to water.
She's like Tokyo drifting the boat.
Bung,
Yeah,
bung,
That's
pretty much.
exactly what I was
There are
thinking.
times where you can like feel the like thump 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 of like you are drafting like across some of like shallower mud, but because you're at an angle, it's not causing the ship to stop. As you see, like these creatures just keep crashing out of the forest, and then as you like finally get to open water, you see some of them like start to like wade in. And there's a moment and then an image that like rises up out of the water as
Oh,
you're
The giant middle finger rises up out of the water. No.
No. It is the crap, I have this.
It's the dragon, isn't it?
No.
No? Okay.
The dragon's back on the mirror sea.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
that's,
he didn't
that's
come
a
through
different
with
ocean.
us. At least if he got caught, like only part of him came through, he gonna be real mad when we go back the
He's
other
gonna
way.
be in a lot of pain.
So it looks akin to the way like these creatures are built. Does that make sense? In the sense of like that the shoulders are like broader than a human's is, and the arms are longer, and like the hands reach almost to like mid knee. But the features of it on its face are inhuman. There's no visible mouth, and there's sort of like an almost like crustacean shell that covers where a beard might be. And the hands of the creature look crustacean. The eyes are kind of, I don't know what it's called, like the little like antenna style, like protruding.
Yep.
But it's also still it's still wearing like a helmet designed for its protection and stuff like that. That looks like it might be fitted around like parts of carapace instead, but like crustacean style instead of insectoid, right? Like instead of like the Viking horns being just like attachments, the entire thing is like form fitted. The image is dozens of feet tall and is obviously inhuman, and it simply like raises a hand and it speaks a word in another language, and you see all of the creatures that are like wading into the water ready to fight just stop, and they start to like turn back towards the rest.
I think we're being granted passage.
Well, hopefully whatever it is knows that we didn't actually steal a rune. We stole a rune's mom.
But
Why does my
Um,
sister like you?
and as
I am infinitely charming. It's not my fault that you just don't have great taste in men.
Basically, as soon as the ship is sailing and it doesn't look like we're in any imminent danger, Runa is going and like scooping up her mom
she's
and like checking her out.
while it's still sailing, like that image remains for a while. It doesn't just disappear after giving like the word. It seems to like look down at the Revenge and just watches it for a moment as it sails by. Are you guys like lifting your hands and waving?
Yeah, we're actually just waving goodbye.
It sort of does the same thing. Like you see like one of its massive, it's all like constructive light though, and you have no idea if it's even something that's still alive or just part of some other remnant of what these things were.
Yeah, but no need to be rude. If it either way, it stopped them from.
It
I
helped
don't
us
know if they
out.
could. Yeah, I don't know if they could swim, but I did not want to find out.
Start singing the song from Moana.
And the storm is like starting to ease. It's still going to be a while before it's like no longer hurricane force. Like it's no longer hurricane force, but it's still storm force. The waves are tall. For those who have not been on the open sea during a real storm, it is definitely something where you're probably like buckling down as much as possible. And Runa isn't able to quite go over to her mom because of the intensity of the storm. She needs to stay with the wheels. She needs to stay with things. But she sees.
But she will go as soon as, like, go to her mom as soon as she can, pretty much.
Yeah. You see Orm and Lucky are just sort of like ready to help with the ship in whatever way is needed. Although, definitely not used to the fact that like all of it seems to happen at Orna's will.
Mm-hmm.
And by memory, I assume she's sailing back towards the Wactturm itself.
Yes.
She sees waves like rising high.
Honoring's gonna grab the crystal to see if she can get them portaled back in there.
When she holds up the crystal and she sees light pass through it, the rainbow in this place is different. Instead of beginning with red, it begins with orange and ends with red. the splitting of light is different. It follows the same progression otherwise. But it's an
Probably when I
understanding that the crystals themselves like probably provide a key of like where you are in the multiverse of worlds. The
Len will
there
offer
is
honoring some burn cream while they're kind of waiting and staying out. He packed for an adventure.
Gav kind of never really left Ingvild's side. As soon as they were on the boat, he just kind of gets her settled down by the main mast and uses his own doctor skills to try and like determine if she's injured or all at all.
she's from what you can tell, it seems more like shell shock than injury. And she looks up and kind of like doesn't quite recognize. She doesn't recognize Gav, but she does recognize Runa, and she recognizes hguorhT, and like there's definitely like sort of like puzzlement that crosses her face at seeing the two of them together. She recognizes Orm. She recognizes Lucky. And as you're further out to sea, you know, the weather like starts to subside a little bit more and a little bit more. And she kind of she puts a hand on Gav's shoulder and starts to push herself up to her feet, and takes like one shaky step and then another towards the wheel. And her voice is almost hoarse, but she looks to Runa. She says, "The tower won't get us back."
Okay.
What?
We need to find a gate.
Oh, that's where we're going, right? Back to the gate.
There's a gate in the tower.
There was a gate in the mirror tower.
Great.
There's there's a gate where the capital city would be if you were in Vestinlands. We could try going toward there.
We know
She
for
says-
certain there isn't one in the Wactturm that's here.
She says, "When I arrived, that was the first place I was. It was an empty tower." And Runa had seen the tower inside of Brunverseo. There's no gates inside of it.
Mhm.
It was empty.
Right. Yeah, the map that we saw in the last chamber we were in. It kind of
Right.
points to honoring. Yeah, it's what you say. It would be in Kirk, no? If we were back home.
It would. So if we go to where Kirk is, or would be, if it hadn't been not chewed?
She says, "Unless you have a way to communicate with someone on the other side, maybe they can open the gate and we can sail back through it."
If anybody.
I
We did not think about that part.
hypothetically, I'm curious if Kazi happens to have his cloak on, could I try to gateway into him and be like, "Help! please.
They're not the same realms necessarily.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, but can she? I mean, you've used your rune to be able to talk to people before, right?
Yeah, but it's been Gris and her mom who are both Scaregin. So I'm not sure if it works outside of that.
Oh, I mean, how close are we to the tower right now? The tower in this realm.
Kirk is actually closer than the tower.
Oh, okay. Well, then we might as well try Kirk, or reverse Kirk, mirror Kirk.
Assuming the
Ghost
stars
Kirk?
are the same.
Rick?
Which
Kirk. Yeah. I can't navigate. I can navigate in the forest. Out on the water, I got nothing.
So Runa's gonna navigate towards Kirk. Or where Kirk would be.
yeah, it's a strange place because it's like a place she knows is like never go here. But that doesn't mean she doesn't know where it is because it was the capital of the West.
Yeah.
And it is on the largest island of the Western lands, so it's kind of like a larger sea. There's still more rivers to go through and stuff like that, but like when she gets to it, it is the size of a massive lake, like Great Lakes kind of size. And she realizes like they're where Kirk would be, but there's nothing but water here.
Perhaps. Do we know like who this like I know that there's a family resemblance and I know Runa's been talking about her mom, so I assume we can figure out that this is her mom.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just from the look of her alone, like they look like they're cut from the same cloth.
So perhaps
Her mom's a little bit taller and definitely looks a bit more rough and tumble. But
perhaps Miss Olaf's daughter could take us through like what she has already tried.
She says, I was brought through in the mirror and held captive by hguorhT. And she says, it took a while before I realized that I could use the water to create reflection and see that the light was different, and with it I could find the tower. I set the Revenge to sail. She says, and I didn't think about where I was going. It was just the first setting that I touched. She says, and I figured anywhere was better than captive of hguorhT. She says, so I went through, but she says, after that, we found this place. We were here for a time. She says it was just, and then Kazi found me, walked out of the forest. And her words are like very halting. It's like clear she's like kind of struggling to like put together memories. And she says we were here for weeks after that, maybe months, avoiding those creatures, trying to figure out a way out. When I first arrived, I went right back to the tower. I knew this was not my world by the landscape, but I couldn't figure out a way back from the tower itself. There was no gate inside of it, no portal.
Did you have one of these? And she holds up the crystal.
She shakes her head. She says, then they discovered me. She says, and they shoved me into that bubble, which it was the only one missing a person, and I don't know if they just couldn't tell that I was not who it was originally designed for.
We definitely don't look anything like those crab people, so, and they seem to be of limited intelligence.
And so I'm not going to require a roll for this, but like as you guys are talking, like you start to see there are other long ships drawing towards your ship.
Ghostly long ships?
Yes, as they kind of cut through the storms and stuff like that, you can see ghostly long ships. You can see Weston crew aboard them.
Runa, you're up.
Yeah, and Ingvild she rises up too. She says, "Our people are trapped here. It is no paradise."
We're going to the tower.
Have we checked the crystal here?
Yeah, Honorine already used it. Remember, it put it up.
She
and
she
it was
saw she saw
orange.
that there was like a different prison, but she didn't see that there was like a tower on the horizon
Oh.
or anything.
Can you make it show us a tower, Honorine? Is there something else to it? You've been the crystal guru.
Gonna hold up the crystal and kind of turn it.
Yeah, you see the different colored prism.
And just be
There
like,
is
this is what's happening.
Yeah. So given that the tower itself is in Freeburg and Freeburg itself also has a gate, even though it's a longer sail, it's the sail you made already,
Right.
it should have a gate as well.
Right.
But like as you are on the way, that's when like the long ships kind of like show up and like they're not like encircling in like a hostile way. Does that make sense? It's like they're running up like their colors and stuff like that
It's
is
an
like
escort.
a show of greeting.
Can we get them out?
How
Will
would
the
we
gate
even
let
do
them
that?
go?
I mean, we have to get us out first. See if anyone can get out.
Yeah.
As they simply like kind of fall into an escort pattern, like ships literally as far as Runa can see in every direction.
Well, it looks to me like they're here to find out. So we're going back to the tower.
It's
Gotta go back to the Wactturm.
It is another sail, another fairly long sail. I'm not like being real particularly clear on time, but like for both of these, there is more than one day passing on each trip. Like both to where you found the longhouse and back. You just like slept on the ship. There are little tents that are kind of like designed to be propped up against the rain and stuff like that. But you have the full benefit of like the wind now in the ship, like at full sail and full trim, and in waters that are like weirdly familiar and not. And soon you see the tower floating in the midst of water as you saw it before at Bryn Sail. And if there is a gate underneath the tower in the same place as the other one, it would be straight down from the tower itself.
I would like to just try it like at the tower itself. Like we've passed through the rainbow of the tower before, so I'd like to try that since the gate that we expected to be at Kirk wasn't there.
Sorry, we were what it likely is based on where the gates were in Thea is that they were underwater because the gate in Freeburg is deep underground.
Well, I think the quote unquote invisible 8th setting would be the Mirror Sea. I could be wrong, but it's what makes the most sense to me.
Why does that make sense? I'm
It would
just
be
asking.
that would be a setting to go back to the place it already is.
I'm sorry, run that by me again.
The 8th setting, when you did that, it affected the Mirror Sea, right? The tower that you're at does not have a gate within.
Oh.
That gate, that large, massive gate, only existed in the Mirror Sea, and you're not there.
Would you be able to swim down then and see if there's anything down?
Yeah. I will give it a shot. If I'm eaten by a shark, remember me fondly.
I will not.
I love you too, Honorine, since we're basically family anyway.
I just think she hasn't run into a wide variety of men, and therefore the first one that was nice
kind of
to her.
interjects. He says, "Could we perhaps table that conversation until we've gotten out of here?"
That conversation is never going away, I feel, but yes, fine. So we're gonna see Otter again, and down we go as far as I can safely take it to see if there's any other apertures or gates or anything.
Who was it that said that to Honorine, by the way?
You're all.
She turns to Galen. She's like, "You don't understand how charming and wonderful my sister is, and he is not."
And he just like listens and sort of like seems happy to like make conversation to distract her from picking at the person who might be about to rescue them.
Yeah.
So.
Under the sea. Under the sea.
It's a long descent, and it's even a bit of a challenge of like breath holding for Len and stuff like that. But he does find the same gate rune, exactly like the one that was under Freeburg, submerged underwater.
Okay, so last time it felt like it took everything that was around the gate, right? Like the boat was next to it.
Smaller, like human-sized gate.
Oh,
and you see that they're like the same crystals that were in the other world arranged below it.
This isn't the Tesseract gate. This is the one
Oh.
that we went through to get to the Mirror Sea in the first place.
Well, Len's going to scoot back up to the surface and un-otter. That's really deep, even for an otter. Okay, so I have good news, bad news, and some possible repercussions. So there is a gate down there, but it's like our little gate, like the one we came to the Mirror Sea through, not the big swept everything and everybody up in a big radius and dropped them somewhere else kind of gate. It's also very, very, very deep. So if we do open it into, say, Freeburg, we could be dumping an entire supernatural ocean's worth of water underground under the city. Also, I don't know that we know the crystal address to get us back.
To get to
all we need to do
to get to the sorry.
Go ahead.
To get to the 7th sea, it was the rainbow reversed. I wonder if to get back home, it is the rainbow.
Well,
And
right.
we are still dealing with the problem of dumping an entire ocean into Freeburg.
Well, no, if I open the... Oh, sorry, go ahead, Henry.
I was just going to say, if we, our goal right now is just to get back to the Mirror Sea. We sidestep that problem if we get to the Mirror Sea and then go back home.
Yeah. So
Duh.
if I go down there and can put the crystals in the right order, pop through to the Mirror Sea, and then make it back to the big Wactturm there, maybe I can bring us all over to the Mirror Sea that way? Because there's no way we're getting the boat, all of this. None of you will survive the dive to get down there to get back to the Mirror Sea.
So you'd like to go through the portal and open it from the other side, is what I'm hearing.
Pretty much. Go back to the big portal and see if I can use it somehow to yank everybody who's here. Because when we showed up here just above the water.
If you open one below the surface of the water, would you not dump this ocean into the beer then?
Yeah, I don't think
Taking
that's
us
gonna.
with it?
Girl, it says it shouldn't last long enough to affect the mirror.
Oh,
It was
Yeah,
only
it's-
open for a few minutes before. So yeah, it
Yeah.
would push water through, but
not enough for us to get low enough.
Well, the other
Yeah,
one
that
seems
we're-
like an ocean, so
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
just adding water to the ocean.
we call it
Pretty
Mirror
evil.
Sea, but it might just be an endless ocean.
It might be.
Yeah.
Yep. So this is going to be this could literally kill me, but I don't really think we have a better option. So give me a minute, and he's going to go and write a letter to Rosa, just in case, and seal it and give it to Gav to give to Rosa.
Can I, while he's writing his letter, because it's clearly going to take him a while, can I devise some way to give him some steam? Like, I realize that steam is not ideal, but to give him like a pocket of air that he can carry with him somehow. Like a globe or something. Like if somebody has like a bottle or
I will let you make a scholar roll with your wits to try to devise something that could carry some extra air, possibly.
$47.
Okay. There are waterproofed bags that so you can devise a mechanism to sort of control the escape of it. That basically will come down to like Len loosening a string. It's going to be work like a full breath. Does that make sense? But at the right
For an
time,
otter.
that breath can be a lot.
Yeah, especially for an otter.
Okay, so once he's done writing his letter, and giving it to Gav, Honoring's going to, like, she's borrowed, like, an oil bag from hguorhT, or maybe not borrowed because this is probably not coming back from this, but she's kind of cupping. It's just a little ember, like it's not like an open flame or anything, it's just some heat. And she's taken some of their fresh water and put it in there instead of like some salt water or anything like that. And so she's going to kind of carefully explain to him, like, here's some air. It will probably burn a little bit when you breathe it. Be careful. It won't be much, but it'll at least be some. And kind of give him the bag of hot air. He can take it
so
with him.
She's going to feel when the flame goes out, effectively, right?
Yes.
Because she's sustaining it until then.
Yes.
And hguorhT he says, if you know that, we can send another bag down via a weight if he runs that one out. Might take a
Okay.
while to get there,
Yeah.
but we can have one ready.
All right.
So I was going to have this be done with an athletics roll, but given what Honorine has contributed with that. It's just going to be a matter of like Len getting the right combination. Does that make sense as far
Yeah,
as
and it's
getting
just the rainbow backwards, so that should be.
When you guys came here, it was Roy G. Biv backwards, or when you came from the other world. But Honorine saw through the lens that the rainbow here is different.
Oh,
That was what I was explaining before. That like
okay.
what she sees through the prism is not red, orange, yellow. It's orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, red.
So that backwards.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so he'll do that backwards.
Okay, so yeah, he dives down. In otter form, it is not easy to move roll crystals. It's probably
No,
the single
it's
like
not.
most enduring part. You know what I'm saying?
Get the little flippers. Just
There's
pause.
He
length of
has a little
time and
pouch. Don't they keep a rock in a pouch under their arm? So he just carries it under his rock pouch.
well,
It's
it's
such
just
an
It
otter
takes
thing,
longer
right?
because he has to find the
It's-
perfect rock.
but like as he's like setting them into place and stuff like that, like we're right up against our time now, but I still want to have a little bit of a scene with Runa and her mom since it's
Yeah,
long overdue. And then Len is like sort of like in front of the gate as it opens, and there's a sudden like the difference in pressure of water on one side just sends him whoosh through into the mirror sea.
Yep. Where he's going to turn into an owl and fly rather than try and swim that shit.
And because I'm a nice GM, I'm going to assume that Len was given the crystal to take through so that he could see where the tower was, because he needs the crystal to see it.
Of course.
That's what I
it's
meant.
wrapped around his neck.
Pocket. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Fair.
Oh.
Sorry, that's the one I thought you were talking about. My bad.
At which point he's just going and reactivating the orange sigil again to see if it brings them back.
Yes.
Okay. So that is a few hours.
Yep.
Most of it in the owl form flying to the tower. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what we're gonna, everybody else is sort of like Honorine feels like the flame go out. You know what I'm saying? They send down another one, and that one she keeps burning like for a while, but it's kind of she doesn't feel it go out as the other one did. Does that make sense? And after a point, it's like he, even as an otter, he would have drowned by this point. So, you are sailed to the tower, but the gate doesn't open directly to the tower. Does that make sense? You had to like travel a distance from where the gate was to get to the tower. And now with the crystal, and flight, he has the ability to get to it faster, but it's still just sort of like a lengthy amount of time. And during that time, Ingvild sits with Runa, and just she says, "I could never be more proud of how foolish you are."
Someone had to help.
She smiles at that, and she rubs like at her neck, and Runa realizes for the first time that her her scars are gone. She has like the eye that's gone white, but all of the marks of the Scaregin are no longer on her body.
Your runes.
She says, Odin made an exchange. She says, I have memories that aren't mine, voices that aren't mine.
You're Odin.
She says, I have a great memory, many memories of looking on your face with love. Though some of them are strange now.
You can stay with me.
I will. For a time, she says, but my people need me. She
Just
says,
remember
but I
I'm your
know.
people too, okay?
She says, I know you need me too. She says, and I will be there for a while I recover. She says, and I will help as I can. I know you have.
There are people I want you to meet. People who want to meet you.
She kind of wraps her arms and gives her a tight hug. She says, you have to introduce me to these foolhardy adventurers who you managed to convince to follow you through
Absolutely.
worlds.
He's gonna gather everyone. And looking at Orm, Lucky, and hguorhT, she just goes, "You don't need me to introduce you to them."
She says, oh no, I know this reckless scoundrel well. hguorhT. And he says, I missed you too. And she
Anything
goes
to say about him? That's out of character.
We'll get to that.
She embraces him. She embraces Orm. She embraces Lucky. And she waits for the introductions to the others. Well, I'm curious how Runa introduces everybody.
Oh, okay. I didn't come prepared with this, and my brain is soup, so I apologize.
That's all right.
This is Hans, one of the strongest warriors I know, one of the bravest. This is Gav. Fuck. Sorry, I'm so ill in my brain.
It's okay. How about we'll save this for like the next game of like that we can give you some time to like meet everyone. You know, like she gotten through the introduction of like Hans, and then like right as she does that, like the sky turns orange and the world around them, like the ghost ships like disappear, and there's kind of like a yelp, and like Len had to like fully book all the way back outside of the tower because he didn't want to get transported alone back into the
it was pretty much a spin and fuck.
And then they're in the Revenge back in the mirror, and Len comes up and out of the water, you know, gets the very tired otter like pulled aboard.
You made it.
And
squeak, chitter squeak.
Hey, while they were gone, would Gav let her read the letter? Like, hey Gav, can I see that? I just want to carry it.
I'm functioning on like 4 hours of sleep. I cannot come up with actual really sweet anything right now.
So Runa has homework and Len has homework before the next game, because that letter is definitely going to be in existence. And we'll close out there with everybody returning to the mirror, and then we'll
one question, did the ghost ships come with us?
No,
they're still stuck there. Fuck.
But like as the sky was turning orange, she saw the captains and crew aboard those ships saluting Ingvild, recognizing her as the High Queen of the Vesten. And like, you know, like a realization, like even if like the rift between the Vesten and the Vendel is solved, there's still something else for her to do. Uh, and probably an understanding that like her magic, her lairds and stuff like that, while part of the Vestan culture, they come with their own whole host of problems of like what they mean. And the arrival in the mirror, Ingvild looks around it with like the familiarity of like, and I'm back here, because she'd spent a long amount of time trapped here as well. And she kind of squeezes Runa's shoulder. She says, introductions will have to wait a little longer, I suppose. She says, so now we go through again. She says, we have a different setting. We return once more.
Correct.
And I'm going to just sort of give this as like a flash of insight to Len of like that the setting that was like neutral, that was clear, is the setting to return to the real world. The others lead to fractions of the prism, other prisons.
Yeah. Okay. So, but do we want to? Let's end it here. We'll cover getting back and everything next time. I'm starting to fade real hard.
Yeah. No, that's totally fine. So I'm just gonna go ahead and read my outro. You guys put some nominations for RP into our chat. So
Len.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Honorine
Len and Runa.
or Runa. Honorine and Runa.
Both. No,
Yeah.
Len and Runa.
I wasn't expecting to almost start crying when I said I am your people too.
That was really touching. And I wanna, yeah. Okay. So we're gonna go with Len and Runa for that. So thank you for everyone watching on YouTube or live on Twitch. Audience participation always means the world to us. And if you're on YouTube, smash the like, hit the subscribe, and make a comment in the down below. Here at Dirty 20, we always sign out with the same call to action. Be nice. Be kind when you have the spoons, but even when you're not, be nice. Be nice to strangers, be nice to family, be nice to your loved ones, and be nice to yourself. Thank you for coming on this journey with us. And we will see you next week.
Next week.